Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Sophia and I make bookish content, mainly literary fiction and mystery thriller videos. And today I am back with a very exciting video for my channel, and that is a book review. So today I am going to be reviewing The Murder at the Vicarage by Agatha Christie. This is the first Miss Marple mystery that was published by Agatha Christie, or at least the first full-length novel where Miss Marple was mentioned as a character. And this review is the beginning of a project that I am going to be doing on my channel this year, which is reading all of the Miss Marple mysteries in publication order and reviewing them on my channel. So very excited that this is the first one and to chat with you guys what I thought about it. So as I said, this is the first novel where Miss Marple is mentioned as a character, although she is not quite as central as a character as I imagine she's going to be in some of the later novels where she's mentioned. Murder at the Vicarage was originally published in 1930 and it was written around that similar time, so in between World War I and World War II, and it takes place in a very quaint village named St. Mary Mead. This village is a very small town, of course, in the English countryside, and at the center of the village is the vicarage, which is where our mystery takes place. The central crime in this novel is about Colonel Prothero, who's a universally hated man in the village, and he is murdered in the home of the vicar, Mr. Leonard Clement, one of my favorite characters in the story, and he's murdered there when the vicar is out of the house. As is often the theme when the most hated man in the village gets murdered, everybody seems to be a suspect. And there are so many people who had motive to kill him. And with it being a very small village, the gossip starts to spread around. Everyone in the village certainly has their suspicions. For the most part, the central narrative in this story is Mr. Leonard Clement himself, the vicar. He's very astute and quickly picks up on clues and makes deductions. While he is not, of course, the man that is tasked with solving this crime, that is Inspector Slack, who is less likable. Mr. Clement is still very much thinking through the mystery and trying to piece it together himself. And because, of course, the murder happened in his own home, he is naturally thrust kind of in the middle of the investigation. Clement also lives with his much younger wife, Griselda, who is absolutely hilarious and just a joy to read about, as well as his nephew Dennis, who is very starstruck that a murder, the most eventful thing that has ever happened in this small town, happened in their little home. He also lives with a very incompetent maid, and as a family, they're always talking about how the dusting isn't quite done and the cooking isn't quite up to scratch, which definitely adds some levity to the book too. I won't get into all of the suspects in the story as there is quite a number of them, but some of them include a beautiful, mysterious woman who shows up in St. Mary Mead, an archaeologist and his younger secretary who are excavating a little area around the town, as well as Colonel Prothero's daughter herself. And not only is Mr. Clement and the investigator looking into the crime, but there is also a very charming group of older women who are really the gossip queens of St. Mary Mead, and they are trying to make their own deductions as well. And part of this group, of course, is our wonderful Miss Marple, a truly delightful character to read about. She has a truly keen eye for detail. She will know where people were in the town, at what time, if anything was out of the ordinary, and so she has a special eye and a special skill for solving crimes. Of course, the men in the town kind of look upon her as a gossiper, a spinster, that she doesn't really know what's going on, but in fact, she is kind of running circles around these men, and she has pieced together a lot more than they have. One of my favorite quotes in this book says, "In St. Mary Mead, everyone knows your most intimate affairs. There is no detective in England equal to a spinster lady of an uncertain age with plenty of time on her hands." I think that is pretty much Miss Marple. Overall, I loved the millions of clues, millions of suspects. I found it really engaging, and I myself was trying to kind of piece together what I had thought had happened. The plot felt very propulsive, and it never felt too bogged down in any one of the characters. And there were also a few comedic moments and comedic characters that I thought added a great balance to the novel as well. If I had one complaint of this book, I wish there was more Miss Marple. I loved the moments when she popped up and analyze clues in such a brilliant way, showing these pompous detectives that she, in fact, knew what was going on when they didn't. That was just so fun to read about. I did find, though, given that this is the first book where she's mentioned, that her presence was a little bit sporadic and her clue dropping, I guess, was a little bit all over the place and dumpy. And I kind of wish that we got a little bit more of her as a central character and her actually deducing the crime from the beginning rather than popping up at kind of moments throughout the book. You know, I'm not sure how that's going to continue throughout the series, if it in fact is going to continue to be that, you know, her dropping in on these investigations, or if she's going to start being the central lady herself. I'm not actually sure, as this is the first one I've read. This book also explored the sexism of the time in a really refreshing way, especially for the time period. I think that it was probably pretty progressive. It really showed that while Marple didn't have the access, the badge that many of the other characters in the story did, she was able to really be remarkable on her own. So ultimately, I ended up rating this book 4 stars. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a great intro to Miss Marple, into the Agatha Christie books. I have read a couple of her other ones, although I have only read Poirot and never a Marple mystery before. But my big question kind of coming out of this is, what role is Marple going to play in future investigations? Is she going to be kind of more of a side character that pops in on these crimes, or is she really going to get the spotlight? I'm very excited to pick up the next book, and I actually have the next one. I think it's called The Body in the Library, in this beautiful edition. So I, of course, will let you guys know what I think about that when I pick it up. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have read this book, what you thought about it, what you rated it. And with that, I will see you guys very soon with another video. Bye.